Hello, welcome back, everyone. We have been away for 4 days and we are going to walk around and see what happened. We got a bunch of rain, while I was gone, so I didn't have to worry about things drying out. But everything is totally out of control. The amount of rain that we got this year is just absolutely insane. So I'm trying to just like circle around really, easy so that I don't get you guys too dizzy, so that you can see how everything looks like on the patio itself. We had quite a bit of rain overnight. I have to say this summer has been probably one of the wettest summers that I've ever, had. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. These are the planters that we cut back, 2 weeks ago, and they are just doing amazing. They've reflushed back out, and the sedum are taking off. They're absolutely beautiful. If you remember, that was probably one of the first things that we planted this spring. So I just wanted to show you also. So this planter, we also cut back. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I think about a month or so ago, I took this Super Bells out of one of the other containers on the other side. And instead of throwing it away, I potted it up here, and look at it, it's just flushing out. It didn't like being as wet as it was in the other planter, so I'm so glad that I didn't get rid of it. And let's just shift over so you guys can get a better view. This is our canna lily that we usually would have in the walkway on the side yard, but I decided to put the dahlias out there this year, so we just saved a couple of them. So we have two in this pot over here, and we also have another canna lily over here, and it's going to have this beautiful coral color flower that is going to look absolutely beautiful. So these are our begonias, and they've been getting way too much sun, so we have to cut off all of those leaves there that have gotten burnt. And this is our patio tomato. We have one more that we can pick. Before I left for vacation, I plucked off two really ripe tomatoes, and it's in the living room actually it's in the kitchen on the windowsill right now. And this is how we're looking in this bed over here. That's the balloon plant over there that we figured out, and I do need to do some deadheading. And this is one of our ornamental grasses over here. And we have a house plant that we normally bring out during the summer, and I usually just let it do its thing. Now, I thought that this one was dead. This was a second plant, but I just let it be, and it's doing its thing for me. So I'm happy that I didn't get rid of that one. We have some weeds in here, but this looks amazing. But this is the plant I'm talking about. There we go. Look how beautiful that is. I'm not sure what those are. but they don't look good. This is how the planter is looking over here. We have the Dusty Miller, some Alyssum, and a Corabelle that was a volunteer. And we also have some things that aren't doing well. So this was a petunia, which didn't get much water while we were away. So I'm going to cut that back. It'll bounce back. I've been torturing those poor things the whole season. It's because it's in this area that doesn't get much rain, and the pots are really small, so I always have to just make sure that I give it a little extra water. And here we are. This is the second bed that we had created this year, and we have the caramel Corabelle in the front, which are looking beautiful and putting on nice growth. We had put, was it 2 or 3 of the begonias, and these begonias grow very tall, and they weren't like in this little spot over here. So only this one is still doing well. The one in the middle I had staked. That looks like it bit the dust, and the one on this side originally that I had didn't last too long. So I don't think that this is a good spot for the begonia. I think next year I'm going to do it more like in a cluster and put it in a container so that it gets a little more support, because this variety grows pretty tall, and I think it requires a lot more staking or some type of support so that it doesn't break. And here's our little seating area that we have underneath the trees. I enjoy it. It still has the fire pit, that we made over here. These rockers were gifted last year by Cicero. It was a company that contacted me and wanted to do a collaboration with me. So I, of course, did my research. I like the company, and they sent over these rockers, and we've really been enjoying them. And this is another little bed that we created this year. So we have a couple of hosta in the front, and I always forget the name of the ones in the back. I will pop it up on the screen. It had beautiful blooms when we planted it, and also into the summer. Recently I cut it back. I'm not sure if it's going to flush out again for the fall, but it was absolutely beautiful while it lasted. As usual, the pines are thriving, and they are dropping needles every single day. They just keep going. And there is 4 trees in this section. And next year I am going to be changing this area over here to be pine straw, because I'm going to stop fighting nature, and I'm just going to embrace it, and I'm going to add in pine straw. And I think during the fall, so I want to get you guys' opinion, I'm thinking of this little wall we created about 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm thinking of doing little modular sections of that, and we're going to continue it all the way across. I think that we can do it in sections, and I think I might have enough space behind the tree, because as you see, the trees are very close to the fence. So we're going to leave up the fence that's there, and we're going to add in, I think, the wooden slat fence. So leave me a comment down below if you're interested in seeing that process. Okay, so this is one of our back beds, and we did spend some time on this. I want to say probably about 2 months ago now. So since then, there's been some weeds popping up because we've had so much rain. So we really need to clean up this area again. And we need to cut back that sand cherry in this section. It's been there for probably 7 or 8 years, and it is struggling. So I'm going to cut that back all the way, and we're going to see how it does. It doesn't get the right amount of sun, but I have no other place that I want to put it. So we're going to think about that. We might move that in the fall. And we have the bench that we made as well. We made it actually a couple of years prior to the bench, the wall that we made on the other side. We had this bench and we had 2 planters on either side of it before we made the actual in-ground beds. And when we decided to relocate the bench portion and make the little wall, we took the 2 side beds off and we used it as anchor pieces for the bed, for the wall that we made over there. So we have the planters that we repurposed. Now, this is the jungle. I did not work on this bed at all this year. It's one of the last areas that we need to tackle. And this has always been an area that gets totally overgrown because it's always the last section that I do. But last year we lost a humongous mulberry. And I believe I shared the footage of the mulberry when it, was taken down. But we left stumps that are probably about 5 feet high. And they have so many suckers that grew from it. So I wasn't aware that I needed to put some type of stump killer on it. I didn't know that suckers would we always have the most beautiful plants in our area, birds, I'm sorry. So that was just a beautiful red bird that flew by that I absolutely love watching out in the garden. So back to this section, we're going to be spraying it, and I bought this vine stump killer by Bonnie. So once we get this all cleaned up, I'm going to paint it on the top of the stumps, and we'll be able to take care of that so that we don't have any suckers come up next year. And I just love how lush our garden is. Right now we have tons of weeds, so we are going to be pulling all of that, but it offers so much shade, the trees that we have, and I just absolutely love my backyard. Just backing up so you guys can see this bed over here. And we're just going to go in and we're going to check out this little seating area here. So this was a seating area that we relocated. So these Adirondack chairs used to be on the other side of the lawn, of the backyard, and we decided to move them to this section, and we also relocated the black rubber mulch, and I think that it fits this space very well. We have Creeping Jenny that is in this area. And as I said, all the rain, the weeds have enjoyed it, and the Creeping Jenny has enjoyed it as well. As you can see, it's spilling over onto the lawn. So we're going to be cutting that back all the way to the rock wall that we have. And it's just going to clean everything up. We have a lot of grass. The grass is out of control. And I didn't get around to cutting off the blooms for the hosta in the back. We did do it for the sidewalk. So this is the continuation. This is the side over here, the gate that separates the side to our backyard. And this is the last little flower bed over here. I don't even remember planting those sedums there. I must have popped them in because originally we had Dusty Miller here, and in one of the earlier videos in spring they were not looking good. I cut them back and it just looks like they just didn't come back. They weren't looking the best at that time, and I said that I was going to take a chance of just cutting them back and seeing if they reflushed out. Well, they didn't, and I just popped in some sedum there, and I like the way that they look. I just have to clean up all the weeds over here, and we're going to make everything look amazing. I just have an abundance of plants this year, and I'm loving it. Usually I don't have as many, plants and flowers as I've had this year, so it's just amazing. This is another one of our planters that just, went crazy. This is a calibrachoa. I think in some of my last videos I might have called it a super bell or supertunia, but these are calibrachoa. And this is how the patio is looking on this side. So this is what happens when you have excessive rain to a super bell. Just can't take it. It drowned. And this is what we are left with. So I'm going to be pulling this out, and I think the super bell that I had on the other side that I rescued, I'm going to pop in there today. And the only other thing is this mint plant that is going absolutely crazy. And we have our juniper planter here that I usually like to have by the bar. And I think that is everything. Everything is looking good. The only thing that I've lost is this plant here. And the struggle bus are those two petunias over there, but I'm not mad about that at all. So I did want to give a close-up look. In one of my past videos, I mentioned that we have sun shades on this side of the pergola and also on the side of the pergola on this side. And I didn't really show a good image of them. So they are about 8 feet shades. They're pretty much the same color scheme as the rest of my furniture, which works out really well. It's sort of like a gray taupey color, and you just basically wind them down. And I like them because I'm able to, as the sun makes its way around my home, I'm able to just lower the sail. And it's hard to be able to do it with one hand, but you guys get the idea. You just rotate it down, and it just gives you just a little more protection and enjoyment while you're out here on the patio and just blocking the sun as it makes its way around the house. So it does come all the way down on both sides, and it actually can be staked down if you don't want it to be blowing around. But we don't get too much wind gusts on this side, so we really enjoy it. Now, I haven't mentioned in a while, but we did a complete installation of this patio pergola. It's from Toja Grids. It's a Canadian company where we purchased the brackets. And these are large black brackets, and it makes it so easy to be able to put the pergola together. And our pergola is an 18-foot by 10-foot, and it makes two separate rooms. One is an 8 by 10 and the other is a 10 by 10 space. And recently I shared a total transformation of this space where I moved around. The table used to be on that side and the sectional was on this side. And I think that the way that we have it laid out now is absolutely amazing. So if you haven't watched that video, I definitely would suggest you go back and check it out. And I just wanted to just walk around and be able to share the state of the backyard, at this time with you. I always love watching others' gardens, especially when they come back from vacation, to just see, what happened in the garden while they were away. And as you can see, a lot happened in my garden. So I want to take you around to the side yard, and I just want to be able to take a closer look at the dahlias that we have over there. Before we head outside, I did have the dahlias in this pot over here. And honestly, I've been throwing so many things and I wasn't recording. I think that those are weeds. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to take a photo of them. I thought that I had dahlias in here as well, but those do not look like dahlias. So we're going to have to try to identify that. But nonetheless, we're going to head to the side. And this is how we're looking. So these corbel are absolutely beautiful, but I do need to trim the blooms on them because they are blocking the walkway. And we can't have them blocking the walkway. So the hosta are huge. We still have some of the blooms still attached, so we're just going to remove all of that. I wanted to leave a little bit for the pollinators, but they've had their chance. And we're going to make our way to the catmint, which we planted and are looking amazing. Sorry for the sun. Okay, I decided to switch over to this angle because the sun is in the front right now, so I'm not able to get too good of images, but look at that beautiful dahlia there. I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed just walking calmly through the garden and just seeing, how all of the plants have progressed over the season, and especially after being away from the garden for 4 days. So thank you so much. I hope that you enjoy. We are going to be doing a quick project recap that's starting now. So if you haven't watched those videos, the playlist will be linked in the description. I hope that you enjoyed today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share with anyone that might like my content. And until the next time, have a blessed day.